total of 100 points, all single-game NBA records.
The thing that I really began to reflect on as a 100-point game was that the other team, being the Knicks, were trying their best to keep me from scoring any points at all. They would do things like foul my other teammates. They would freeze the ball for as long as they could. They would do all sorts of dumb things. They weren't even trying to win the game. They were just trying to keep me from scoring 100. So scoring 100 points in a game was a great, great feat, and I really think of it as that.
Wilt's 100-point game was once unanimously believed to be an insurmountable record, but in recent years, the legitimacy of this game has been called into question. It has become a somewhat common belief in modern basketball discourse that the game was faked to draw attention to the league. While I understand questioning the validity of something that happened so long ago and without video evidence, I find that most of the arguments can be easily explained with knowledge surrounding both the game and the league during that time period. To format this video, I will first call attention to an argument or question that I have seen against the validity of the game, then I will provide my counteracting argument. Why wasn't it recorded? This first question is one I see often, and an understandable one at that. It makes sense that people would wonder why the league wasn't showcasing one of its biggest stars on TV, but lack of a video recording actually makes complete sense and falls in line with the recording practices of the league at the time. Constantly televising games would not have been smart for the league. The money wasn't there and neither was the attention from the public. As a matter of fact, we can pull up exact numbers for game attendance for the Philadelphia Warriors during 1962, the year of Wilt's 100-point game. The average comes out to 5,579, which was still higher than the 4,124 that paid to get into the arena on the day of Wilt's record-breaking performance. And to make that number even more disappointing, most of the people in attendance weren't there for the game between the Warriors and Knicks. The main attraction was an exhibition game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Colts. And if that wasn't bad enough, these numbers might have been exaggerated because the Warriors owner was known for lying about attendance numbers. To put this into perspective, middle-of-the-road MLB teams were bringing in over 10,000 people per game in a league with almost twice as many teams. I bring all this up to show why recording every game would not have made sense. The expenses of televising a game such as that Warriors vs. Knicks matchup would not have been made back. Even by 1964, ABC, who was the league's primary television partner, was still only televising games on Sundays, which means any games before Sunday were lacking coverage, no matter how important the game was. This really goes to show that the lack of film from Wilt's 100-point game is far from unusual and is honestly expected considering the fact that you can't find film for like 95% of Wilt's career. Where's the evidence? Naturally, when faced with the lack of video evidence, people will begin to ask for any sort of evidence, and luckily for us, we have a large amount of that. First, we have the box score, which I'll put on the screen. The box score shows us Wilt's field goals, free throws, fouls, and most importantly his point total. Next, we have a 3-minute audio recording of a broadcast covering the game up to his 100th point, which I will show now.
Chamberlain at 96. Norris makes the foul. 165 to 144, and Norris makes the next one. The Warriors are now within 8 points of the all-time team total. Larisi with the ball down the right side, passes to Chamberlain. He's open, he shoots, he scores. 167 to 145. He has 98. Chamberlain steals the inbound pass. Shoots, no good. Johnny Green has it. Down to Guerin. Chamberlain stole the inbound pass and took a shot at within and out. New York with the ball. Into the backcourt now to Cleveland Buckner. Back to Guerin. They're not taking the shot. They're eating up time. Guerin is fouled by Luckenbill. 1 minute and 1 second to play. Chamberlain at 98. He can make it easily. The Warriors are going to take time out, I believe. Guerin's on the line. The Warriors now are within 6 points of the all-time league record for most points in a regulation game, which is 173. Boy, records are busted out all over. Discussion now in the lane between referee Willie Smith, Richie Guerin, and Joe Rucklick. Guerin, who's really jabbering, I don't know what he's arguing about. Wilt has 29 in this quarter. That sets a new league record record for a quarter for one man. The individual record for a quarter, 29, just broken by Chamberlain. That's his own record. It was 28. Guerin on the foul line misses. 1 minute and 1 second to play. He has 98 points in professional basketball. I'll tell you, that's a lot of points if you're playing grammar store kids, isn't it? Guerin misses another. He's on the line again. Here it is. It's up. It's good. 167 to 146. Now let's see if they found somebody quick. Rogers throws long to Chamberlain. He's got it. He's trying to get up. He shoots. No good. The rebound, Luckenbill. Back to Chamberlain. He shoots up. No good. In and out. The rebound, Luckenbill. Back to Rucklick. Into Chamberlain. He made it. He made it. A zipper dunk. He made it. The fans are all over the floor. They stopped the game. People are running out on the court. 100 points for Wilt Chamberlain. They stopped the game. People are crowding, pounding him, banging him. The Warrior players are all over him. Fans are coming out of the stands. 46 seconds left. The most amazing scoring performance of all time. 100 points for the Big Dipper.
Finally, we have anecdotes from the center who guarded Wilt during the game, Daryl Imhoff. I can't have a nightmare tonight. I just lived through one. I spent 12 years in his armpits, and I always carried that 100-point game on my shoulders. Wilt's teammate Joe Rucklick also refers to himself as a walking footnote because he gave the assist for Wilt's final 2 points to reach 100. While these are just words, I feel that they hold a lot of weight because on one hand, you have Daryl Imhoff who is admitting to being basically embarrassed by Wilt on the court that day, and on the other hand, you have a player who is undermining his whole career in reference to the record. The NBA faked it to draw attention. This final statement is what I usually see as the reason that the NBA would want to fake Wilt's 100-point game, and to me, it just doesn't make much sense. I don't see why Wilt scoring 100 would draw people into the game of basketball when Wilt had already been putting up 60 and 70-point performances. Wilt was basically surpassing himself when he dropped 100. It wasn't like he was breaking some long-standing record or he was some sort of rising star who just had a breakout game and people really needed to keep an eye on him. Wilt was already an established superstar, and I feel like pretty much everyone who was tuned out wasn't going to tune in after seeing that Wilt dropped 100. Also, I feel like the insanity surrounding this record wasn't fully established yet because the level of difficulty wasn't fully gauged. The NBA had been established less than 20 years before he scored 100 points, and now we're looking at 60 years since he scored 100, and no one has really gotten close yet. So while I'm sure that the level of accomplishment was somewhat known at the time, I feel like people are thinking about the media sensation that someone getting 100 points today would cause and then applying it to back then, when in reality, it didn't really fill headlines back then the way it would today. In conclusion, I really believe that Wilt's career is one that deserves to be celebrated, and while I understand the suspicion given towards this game, I think that the lack of video evidence should not be enough to discredit a record that has been praised for over 60 years at this point.